Hey guys, it's Josh. I'm doing a battle report here today with my wife Karen, and today we have Mercenaries versus Cygnar. On the Mercenary side, we're using Gorten with a driller and 2 blasters, followed by Thornstein hammer, marshalling, and avalancher. And we have high shield gun core and the unit attachment, and then the forge guard. On the Cygnar side, we have Nemo, a newly acquired Squire, Thunderhead, an Ironclad, Journeyman Warcaster, Trencher Commandos, a Storm Tower, and 3 Stormcallers. Here's an overall look at the battlefield. We've got a water feature which we haven't used before, some barrels for cover, 2 forests, and a hill, and then a hill back here, which the corner hills usually don't come into play in our games. But we're going to try a deployment we saw online, which is going to be long ways, and it'll be an 18-inch regular deployment plus 6-inch advanced deployment, and we'll be playing diagonally. Alright, here's the Rhulic Mercenary deployment. In the front we have the high shield gun core in base to base for shield wall. Behind them we have the forge guard also in base to base for their high armor boost. And on the right hand side is an avalancher with Thor behind him. And then over here we have a driller and Gorten siding in the back and 2 blasters spread between. Alright, here's the Cygnar deployment. Over here we have some Trencher Commandos advanced deployed up behind the barrels on this side of the lake river stream bed. We've got a Stormcaller back there, a Stormcaller right next to the Ironclad, and a Thunderhead, which are blocking a Journeyman Warcaster and Nemo, along with the Squire. The Storm Tower is set to try to run up in here and get into position for next turn, and the last Stormcaller's there. Alright, for the Mercenaries' first turn, I'm going to make this simple. Everything ran except for Gorten, who moved up and cast solid ground. Started out over here, crossing some water. Stormcaller ran up the side. Our Trencher Commandos stayed still. A lot of movement happened in the middle here. We had Thunderhead and Ironclad move. Thunderhead got Electrify, Ironclad got Arcane Shield and Disruption. Nemo also cast Deflection and moved up with a Squire. Journeyman Caster walked up. Storm Tower ran to get into a better position over here. And then we had the last Stormcaller right here. And here's the battlefield as of the end of turn 1. Okay, this was a big turn for the Rhulic Mercenaries. First off, we had the high shield gunners move up 4 inches and then take 2 huge combined range attacks, 2 by using the double fire order, and managed to do 9 damage to the Thunderhead on the first shot, and then another 4, which somehow rolled perfectly to knock out the Cortex. That might be a game changer here. After that, the Forge Guard ran up behind, Blasters moved up, Driller moved up, Gorten moved up and cast Strength of Granite on the Driller. Then over here, our champ, the Gorten Avalancher, shot with a boosted hit from Thorn and hit the closest commando to him with a boosted hit and killed 5 of the 6 of them. And the last guy maintained his command check to remain in the fight. That was a big turn. Here's the battlefield. Big turn followed by a big turn. Cygnar wrecking face. Over here, Stormcaller ran up, failed to zap high shield gunner. This one ran up and actually did zap a gunner. Lightning Tower zapped a Forge Guard. What else happened? The remaining commandos, there you'll notice there's 2. We forgot to count the fact that Nemo had casted Deflection. So it only changed the damage roll on 1, so we added another one back to the table. That Stormcaller ran up and zapped a high shield gunner. Nemo casted Locomotion on the Thunderhead to move him up, and then he walked in and used his action energy pulse, which you're looking at what's left. So we had 4 guys zapped by little shots, and then all the rest of them killed by the energy pulse. Or all but 1, because the ironclad came up and smashed a high shield gunner. So, and also a total of 7 damage was done to the blasters from the pulse too. So that was a pretty devastating turn here, and I'm going to try to come back and kill some jacks. This has been a pretty exciting game so far. Over here we had Blaster right here come up and spray and do damage and killed a Stormcaller and the 2 Trencher Commandos that were left. Thor, Steinhammer, and the Gorten Avalancher, and the damage from the Blaster managed to knock out both the Shock Fist on the Thunderhead, and he has like 6 damage remaining with just his movement. He has Electrify, but I didn't melee him, so nothing got knocked back. Over here, this Blaster fired his spray and killed the Stormcaller that was here. The Driller charged in and did a substantial amount of damage with just his drill, then missed his grappler attack and missed another attack from focus with his Strength of Granite, feeling pretty wasted. But the Forge Guard right behind charged in and did another 7 damage, I think. So the Quake Hammer has been disrupted. So we have a lot of stuff dying, and it's getting pretty tight here. We'll see what the Thunderhead does. That might determine the outcome of this game right now. Big things that happened. Feet. Nemo's feet did a lot of damage. 2 full columns to the Driller, like 6 or 8 to both of the Blasters, and 6 to the Avalancher, I think. So a lot of damage all around, with a lot of boosting going on. What else happened? Storm Tower over here failed to disrupt, but still did some damage, and his movement's knocked out, and he's about dead actually. We lost another Forge Guard from the Arcane Pulse here. The Arcane Pulse also did 5 damage to Gorten and 3 damage to Thor. Not killing anybody, but doing significant damage to me here. And Nemo also followed up his feat with a Ball Lightning to the Blaster that was here, killing that. And finally it wrapped up here in this combat, the Driller and the Ironclad, leaving the Driller with 8 points left, and the Nemo's feat also left all my jacks disrupted. So this is going to be a tough turn. What happened here? Gorten Driller did 2 damage to the Ironclad. Blaster did none. Forge Guard did 4, I think, maybe. Thor Steinhammer turned around and tried to flame the Thunderhead and failed, but Gorten double-barreled him and shot him for 7, which was what he needed to die. So that was satisfying. Haven't feated yet, and right here our Gorten Avalancher shot at Nemo and failed terribly. So that's where the turn stands. I still haven't feated yet, and Nemo has, so my jack should come back from disruption next turn. We had a Stormcaller shoot at Gorten and do nothing. He failed. The big mover and shaker here was the Ironclad this turn, which we've discussed is amazing with Arcane Shield. That armor 21 saved for at least 12 damage, probably more, probably 15. I think 15. That's a lot of damage saved. Back here, the Journeyman Warcaster shot, and Journeyman Warcaster shot and failed to damage. That's right. And the Storm Tower shot and blew up the last Blaster over here. And then Nemo shot up the Avalancher pretty well, and he lost his gun arm. So he's crying right now. This is a pretty tough spot. I've got 1 Forge Guard, an Avalancher, and Gorten left remaining. and Nemo is done. Gorten feeded, slid everything up. I didn't even bother doing anything else. He just swung for the fences at Nemo, and with 2 Forge Father hits and a gutter hit, the last Forge Father hit being a critical smite, totally annihilated him with an extra, I think, I don't know, like 10 damage. So in the end, Gorten sucked him in and wrecked his face. Really close game. One failed attack roll probably meant death for me. The game was great, really close. Nemo does a lot of damage that's not blast damage, which is painful. So does the Thunderhead. You know, solid ground with Gorten is a very good deterrent against the Trencher Commandos, but not so much against Energy Pulse and Electrify. A lot of boosting, and this is the first game with a Journeyman Warcaster and a Squire, giving Nemo some extra focus. A lot of Signar boosting. Very close game. I think all in all I have more dead stuff, but very close, very exciting.
My final thoughts: this is my first time playing Signar, as Josh mentioned, and I'm used to the Harbinger of Menoth with her 10 focus, so Nemo's 7, while ample for most people, is a little low for me. I did like the use of the Journeyman Warcaster. That was a very different dynamic than what I normally come across. And I wish I could have gotten a couple of things off. The Trencher Commandos are pretty awesome. I would love to have used their grenades, but not against the Mercenaries with their solid ground. It's no good. But I do love the Thunderhead and the Ironclad. It's too bad that the Thunderhead's Cortex was taken out in the first round. But it's a lot of fun. The Mercenaries are very cool. I'd actually never seen them in action before at all. And they were very fun to play, so I might give them a try one day too.
We did notice something. I wanted to tell you guys this. We noticed something that I never would have noticed before, but we had it. Let's see if that doesn't... The Avalancher marks its assault shield in the right arm and the cannon in the left arm, which, if you look at the Avalancher, is not how he's modeled. So we didn't really know what to do. Fortunately, I feeded before I used him, so we avoided the issue for now. But that's something we're going to need to decide a house rule on, or